This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Neal Atkinson joining us from BetSaracen's, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. And you know what? It isn't even close. They blew away all the other apps. They got all the bets you're looking for right now. NFL championship game, which we call the Super Bowl here. NBA basketball, college basketball weekend is going to be huge. College baseball preseason props, Major League Baseball preseason props, and it's all on your Apple iPhone, Google Android, any web browser, BetSaracen.com. Good afternoon, Neal, with the day before great basketball games tomorrow. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah. I am doing fantastic, and it's great. It's another Friday. I'm on with Matt and you and talking about what we've got coming up on the weekend and Super Bowl and everything. And it's just a great time for sports betting. Very busy time for me, but it's also a very fun time to see what all we're able to do and be creative around the Super Bowl. I can say Super Bowl when I'm talking about it, but I just can't put it in print. It's kind of funny, these little media deals, but we got different ways around it, so we navigate it pretty good.
Yeah, we all know what you mean when you say NFL championship game. I think we have a sense of that. So, but the Super Bowl isn't for a couple of weekends, and tomorrow is all about college basketball, man. I mean, you got top 25 matchups, 6 or 7 of them, including one here in the SEC with Tennessee and Kentucky. So feels like this weekend, while football takes center stage in a couple of weekends, it's all basketball starting tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's an exciting day. I mean, you look at both Tennessee and Kentucky, and both of them are coming off of recent losses, and both two of those recent losses were both by South Carolina. So it's going to be interesting. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I know we were talking about what Arkansas has to do to get in, and they may be facing where they have to win the tournament to get in is probably the likelihood. Of course, me as a bookmaker, I am rooting for that because if they're in the tournament, it creates that much more interest. So I'm absolutely rooting for them to turn it around the second half of the season and hope that can happen. But yeah, I mean, this weekend is really all about college basketball because we're not going to be doing anything with the Pro Bowl this weekend, just the way they do the format.
Yeah, you used to be able to put money on the Pro Bowl because it used to be a real game. It's just, I mean, how can you? Yeah. You can't really set odds on some of these competitions that they're doing for these Pro Bowl games, right?
Yeah, not really, because a lot of those skills competitions are being pre-recorded, and then they have the flag football games. But there is a point scheme where points carry over from some of the skill competitions and from the earlier flag football games. So it's really, really hard to set a fair line and price that right. And if you can't do it and it's too hard, I'm not going to offer it because I'm only going to offer it if I offer a fair value for my players. So until they get that format, but it's more of an exhibition. It's more of a fun event. It's in Orlando this year, and it's more entertainment than it is a sport. And and it's just really not conducive to betting in that particular format.
We've seen Arkansas now, and I forget what the line was 4 games ago, but they've been the underdog 3 games in a row, and a 6.5-point underdog tomorrow at LSU. And it's just got to be also a little bit difficult when you're setting the lines because you don't necessarily know the availability of some players. Or I guess by now maybe you do. You kind of have a sense. Trevin Brazile has been practicing. He won't play. Devo Davis isn't on the team, so maybe that does help a little bit.
It helps and then it doesn't help because, we actually on our self-created specials because we create all that content in-house, we actually kind of changed over to using only SEC stats, once conference play because there was – I can see a difference when we started in conference play and then before and some of the things that happened with the team and then the shooting just absolutely went pretty challenging for them. So, we kind of adjusted a lot of the double R props and even a lot of those were not having the hit frequencies that they had before. But the last game, boy, they turned that around. It was a really, really good game against Missouri for the bettors. And the majority of the special props that we put up were winners. I think 3 of them was for no action because they didn't play. That's the benefit of those props is if the player doesn't enter the game, we just void that bet out. And I think there were only 3 losers of the whole menu of props. So if you bet those props last week against Missouri, you did pretty good on that. So and the bettors really did need that because they kind of taken their lumps. Although the Ole Miss game, we actually had more money on Ole Miss than we did for Arkansas, and I don't remember seeing that at all since we launched the online BetSaracens. So that was interesting, and the bettors actually did well on that one too.
You hit on something that I want to open up a little bit. So when you're setting lines for SEC basketball games, now you're just going by SEC statistics. When I look at the baseball teams, I can only truly believe what I see out of the SEC stats because those are always the tougher teams that they play. And I mean, heck, looking at the schedule for Arkansas basketball this year, outside of Duke and a couple of others, I mean, you'd feel the exact same way. Is that the way you've always set odds?
Not necessarily. We have consensus odds and we have modeling. And as we have more games, we determine which model is more accurate for the team because you can weight it differently. So without getting too technical on all the other stuff, we've got a couple of different models. We weight them differently, and we find the one that's best for the team. And sometimes we do have to change gear mid-season like we did with Arkansas because if we would have gone full season averages and weight them against the competition, it just doesn't look equitable to us. And look, I mean, when we're setting these lines, they got to be winnable to keep your credibility. So yeah, we did change that, and and like last week, we lost our shorts on it. So I mean, you take the good with the bad, but you've got to make it equitable and be consistent. And like I said, we will change gears mid-season, just depending on what model that we have that's getting it, getting closer or doing better.
I'll put you on the spot for the Super Bowl here. Do you know how many prop bets you guys have for the Super Bowl? Because it's
you know what? I think it's already approaching 1,000.
No,
I think it's already over 1,000. Yeah. Now, the caveat is there's maybe not as many markets, but there's over 1,000 selections that you can make on there. And just, I mean, if you look, you can basically, we've got a market on the specials where if you open it up, you can pick what the exact score of the game is, and those have some tremendous odds on them. But most people are kind of keying on the traditional ones. The coin toss is getting a little action. We've actually got that up with no juice on it, or what team's going to win the coin toss. But I mean, we could absolutely talk a week about these different props and what we're offering. And the job of the sports bettor is if pick the one that you like first, and 2 is if you're a serious sports bettor and you get analytical, you search through and find the one that you think we may have messed up on and go for it. So, but most people keep these props to around $10. It's all friendly, and we do get a few bets on the props, but we will have more action on the individual props than we will on the actual game outcome itself, and that's been the trend here lately.
I went looking through it a little bit, and I didn't see any Taylor Swift props. There are some sports books that have had some prop bets on Taylor Swift. Are you planning any of these? And how the heck do you even set odds on some of these things?
Really, we can't. The way the Arkansas regulations is set up is that it specifically prohibits political betting, but also it says it's sports and entertainment betting has not been approved and is not allowed per our regulations. And the Taylor Swift props, a huge argument could be made that that's more of an entertainment prop than it is a sports betting prop. So we're kind of shying away from that. I don't know of any other books except maybe there may be some in New Jersey because they do allow entertainment props. But the book that I saw that had a few out there that was a legal book, not an offshore book, there was a few in Canada, and of course there's a bunch over in Europe, and they have much looser regulations as far as that is concerned. So we can do entertainment, but one thing Arkansas did do is they did allow us to do props on college players. So, and that's been a big part of our business. And basically, our betting, our players have demanded it, and it's worked well for us.
Last thing, and back on Arkansas basketball here for a moment. Do you know what Arkansas's record is against the spread this year? I'm not asking as if I know. I'm interested in that.
Can't remember what it is right now, but I will have to look real quick. I might be able to find it in a minute, but off the top of my head, I can't tell you what it is. I think it's more. I think it's more, and they have not covered the spread more often. So,
okay.
But I'll try to find that record here in a minute.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it there, Neal. You text it to me, and I'll let people know what it is because I'm kind of.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.